Ethan never believed in the old stories about the asylum. To him, it was just another crumbling building on the edge of town, a place where kids dared each other to go inside on stormy nights. But when his best friend dared him to spend 1 hour alone inside, he didn't back down. It's just walls and dust, Ethan laughed, pulling out his phone to record the adventure. What's the worst that could happen? The asylum greeted him with silence. The heavy metal doors groaned as he pushed them open, the hinges screaming after decades of rust. The stench of mold and rot filled his lungs. Inside, the hall stretched long and narrow, lined with broken lights and peeling paint. Windows were cracked, letting in only fragments of moonlight. His flashlight beam shook across the walls, revealing old graffiti mixed with something darker. Bloody handprints smeared into the plaster. He chuckled nervously, pretending it didn't bother him. Probably some prank, he muttered into his phone. But deep down, the place already felt wrong. And at the very end of the corridor, painted in shaky red letters, were 3 words that made him stop cold. He is coming. Ethan lifted his phone closer to the wall, zooming in on the dripping letters. The paint, no, not paint, still glistened wet under the beam of his flashlight. A fresh, metallic smell filled his nose. Okay, that's creepy, he whispered, forcing a nervous laugh. He turned to keep moving, but the air had changed. The hallway felt heavier, colder, as if the building itself was exhaling against his skin. His breath fogged in front of his face even though it was summer outside. Somewhere in the distance, a light flickered. Once, twice, then went out completely. Ethan froze. His phone camera glitched, distorting the screen with lines of static. For a split second, the lens caught something at the far end of the corridor. A shadow. Tall, twisted, horns jutting upward. And then it was gone. He swallowed hard, backing up a step. No, it's just my phone glitching. That's all. The sound came next. A slow scrape, like claws dragging across the concrete floor. It echoed through the hall. Too close. Too deliberate. His flashlight flickered violently, and when it steadied, the bloody handprints on the wall had multiplied. Dozens of them. Fresh, wet. The words at the end of the corridor had changed. Now they read, "He is here." Ethan rubbed his eyes hard, shaking his head. No, that's impossible. It didn't say that before. He pointed his phone back at the wall, zooming in. The words were still there. He is here. Dripping, fresh and wet. His hands trembled so badly that the video blurred. He lowered the phone and pressed his back to the opposite wall, trying to slow his breathing. This is just my mind playing tricks. Someone probably came in before me, left this here. Yeah, that's it. That's all it is. But deep down, he didn't believe it. The scrape echoed again, louder this time, closer, like claws dragging along the walls on both sides of the hallway. Ethan spun around, flashing his light wildly. Nothing. Empty corridor. Then his phone buzzed violently in his hand. The screen lit up, not with his camera, not with his apps, but with a single phrase typed out across the display in jagged, blood-red letters. Look behind you. His chest tightened, sweat stung his eyes. He wanted to run, but his body refused to move. Slowly, with every nerve in his body screaming, Ethan turned. At the end of the corridor, bathed in shadows and fog, something was standing. Tall, twisted, with the horns that scraped the ceiling. Its skin cracked like burning coal, glowing red from beneath. Multiple eyes burned across its face and chest, all locked directly onto him. Ethan's mouth went dry. His flashlight flickered again, and when the beam returned, the thing was closer. The corridor groaned as if the walls themselves were straining to hold something back. Ethan's flashlight sputtered, then died completely, leaving only the pale glow of his phone screen. The figure was gone. See? Nothing's there. Nothing's... A deafening bang shook the hallway as the ceiling light exploded overhead, showering him with sparks. Ethan screamed, covering his head. When he opened his eyes, the demon was no longer at the end of the corridor. It was halfway down. Closer. The scrape of claws tore into the concrete, each step echoing like thunder. Its mouth split unnaturally wide, stretching up toward its eyes, revealing rows of jagged, blood-soaked teeth. From its chest, another mouth opened, gasping hungrily, dripping black saliva onto the floor. Ethan stumbled backward, phone shaking in his grip. The screen distorted, flashing static and grotesque images, faces screaming, eyes melting, flesh tearing. For a split second, he saw his own reflection twisted among them, eyes glowing red. The demon's voice filled the hall, not from its mouth, but from the walls, the floor, the air itself. He is coming. And then, louder. He is here. The bloody handprints covering the walls began to bleed fresh, running down in thick streams, pooling at Ethan's feet. The stench of iron was overwhelming. His legs finally obeyed. He turned to run and slammed into something solid. The demon was standing inches from his face. Ethan froze, nose to nose with the demon. Its breath was hot and rancid, a stench of rot and burning flesh that made his eyes water. The creature's chest mouth opened wider, exhaling a low growl that rattled Ethan's bones. Its claws flexed long enough to pierce through him in one strike. He tried to scream, but no sound left his throat. His phone buzzed violently in his hand, the screen now showing only one phrase in a pulsing red glow. Let him in. The lights above flickered back on, but the hallway was no longer empty. Dozens of figures lined the corridor walls. Twisted, eyeless, their jaws hanging open, all of them staring at Ethan, their bodies twitching unnaturally like broken marionettes. The demon leaned closer, its many eyes burning straight through him. Your hour is over, it whispered, though its mouth never moved. Ethan's arm lifted on its own. His hand reached toward the demon's chest, trembling, unwilling, but pulled by something stronger than him. Behind him, the figures on the walls began to chant in unison, their voices echoing like a church choir twisted in hellfire. He is coming. He is coming. He is coming. The blood pooling at Ethan's feet rippled, as if something beneath the floor was trying to rise. And then, darkness swallowed everything. When the darkness lifted, Ethan was gone. His phone lay cracked on the ground, its screen still glowing faintly. On it, the camera feed was frozen, showing his own terrified face stretched unnaturally, eyes burning red. Outside the asylum, his friends checked their watches. An hour had passed. Guess he chickened out. One of them laughed nervously, but then the asylum doors groaned open. Ethan stepped out into the moonlight, moving slowly, his clothes stained with fresh blood. Bro, you scared the hell out of us, his friend said, approaching him. You okay? Ethan raised his head. His mouth curled into a grin far too wide, tearing at the edges of his cheeks. His eyes glowed red like burning coals, and in a voice that wasn't his own, layered and inhuman, he whispered, He is here. Behind him, deep in the asylum, the chanting continued, growing louder, closer.